Okay, mahalo nui. We know that you folks have made some really wonderful connections. And now you know a little bit more about those around you. And throughout the week, when you see each other, you can say aloha and touch base with each other. I'll hand the mic over to
Aloha. Yeah, it's me again. Let me ask those in the room who heard of the term Kapu Aloha? Kapu Aloha. Oh, anybody like share manao on Kapu Aloha? Anybody? Don't be ashamed. It's not right or wrong. For real. Anybody? What do you think? Manao. Kapu Aloha. Right? A lot of it came out from the Mauna Ai Hikino. You don't mind I can walk over there.
As Kanaka is our way of being. Our way of being that is pono and righteous, right, harmonious, and universally harmonious, and olu. And it is perpetuatable.
Perpetuatable. I love it. Beautiful. Anybody else like share manao? Ay, pululea. Right? Anybody else? One more. Oh, hikino, you know why? Ku, hina, you know. Balance.
Because I have a fabulous therapist that really was like, maybe redefine this for me in a whole way. But I don't know if there's like a good, bad, right, wrong to this. You know, it's really what's resonant in that season. And sometimes kapu aloha is really nice and warm and fuzzy. And there's times where kapu aloha is very fierce, and the aloha becomes like a protective. And so kapu aloha for me is being able to hold all of our relations with love and with fierceness and protection. And I think that in this season, especially from those of us in Lahaina, we're activated in kapu aloha, but it's not going to look like the kind of aloha that we were taught. Oh, be nice, play nice. Sometimes you gotta come with that fierce, but you're always gonna be rooted in that aloha.
Oh yeah, pa'i lima for the two that shared my kailoa. Kalamai for my back. You know, otherwise I would have to go like this. Yeah. And exactly. So my question is kind of sharing kapuola. Keola gonna help me, but it's actually kind of the same, but we're looking at ola, life. So much life. And the sacredness of life. And that which is so precious to us. And sometimes we need to, just like kapu aloha. Kapu ola is, maybe we need to have this time where we look at ola and all that is to create ola that is healthy, balance, from healing to physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental. I'm going to tell you this story because this relates to Waimanalo. When I was young, my papa, he took us to this place and he said, you can't go over there, go holo kai. No, holo kai, yeah? Cannot, because if you say the other word, we're going home. Or we're not going out, right? You don't say the other word, the fish word. Shh. I'aha mauleo. You know what that one is? So he would say again, no, you can't go over there. None of us going over there. 5 years, we couldn't go holo kai over there. There was on Kapu. After the 5 years, I don't know if I was trying to tell you this story one time. And what he did was we all got together and we did one hukilau. Imagine all of us. I was older, but maybe like 9, 10 years old. But he was telling us when we were 4. Took 5 years before we could go in the kai. The kai, and then bring them all in, give them to all the people on the shore. Was kapu for the fish and all that to grow healthy. So it was that time that it had to get abundant, full. Kapuola. Time to get abundant, full, healthy. What is that for you? What is that for me? Have we done kapuola for ourselves? Connecting in that time, connecting to kupuna, connecting to kanaka, and what you doing to connect to Piko Ilalo. So connecting 3 Piko, Piko Luna, Piko Vaina, Piko Mai, or Piko Lalo. That's the kapuola. When you can start to balance those, abundant, spiritually, physically, mentally. So much has happened to our ohana on Maui. We're trying to give them space so that they can have the kapuola. And that's what we're trying to share. And part of this part now is on the kapuola, that we hopefully can start to have them, or when they themselves individually or collectively look at ola and purge out some things that is not ola. Tough today. So much come in, so much we get information like in seconds. So it's difficult to kapu. You know, one of the things I do, and I had to do to go to the next level, and many have done kapukai, right? In here. And one of the things of kapukai is that release when you go into the kai. But you're dipping 1, 2, 3 piko to release, so you can start to reconnect those important things. It's all about connection. You know, one of the steps we did today when you and Ho'olauna, the person next to you right in the left, that's hopefully starting you to connect, to begin the process. We never say kapuola, but we want it for all of us. That sometimes we need to have and be and speak and be in that space and receive the healing. It's that respect for life, respecting ourselves, giving us that which we need for ola. It's not an easy thing because we're not used to allowing ourselves those moments. But hopefully, through our sharing today, you will take the time to have that ola, ola, more ola. With that said, I'm going to throw it over to Keola. Good, huh? You like that one, huh? Funny.
There's some characters up here with me today, right on. I belong to a group called Halimua Kuali'ia. And relationships we heavily rely on in the Halimua. And so several of us had gotten calls about the unfortunate suicides that were happening here because of what took place. So Dr. Kiawe Kaholokula and Dr. Kamana Opono Crab, we were on a call together and just talking about it. And that's how this term came about, Kapu Ola. If you Kanaka, if you Hawaiian, you understand it's all about mana. As a Hawaiian, that is what drove and drives us, is mana. And like our ancestors, when something like this happens, the first thing our people would do would place a kapu, right? If like Makalauna, if you in holo holo too much in one area, and no more enough fish, there would be a kapu that would be placed there, because you are trying to revive the mana of that space, right? The spiritual mana that resides in that area. And so it was important for us to have this mindset, one, because life is taken so easily because of the way that we view it through our society today, and what has historically happened to us too. And so if you want to restore the mana of a people, we must reclaim the kapu aspects again. And we are seeing that. We are seeing that from every panel you're going to hear for the rest of the week, is restoring and reclaiming the kapu of our vai, of our aina, of our the ai that comes out of the aina, right? We need to play an active role in maintaining the kapu so that the mana can be cultivated. Kapu is also important, is because it's not just restrictions, it's this idea of spiritual, preserving the spiritual aspect, but also not looking at our people as traumatized, that they are this trauma model that has inundated our community more recently. Because of this, everything is trauma informed. We don't see our people as trauma. I think that's an important thing to see, that they are part of that area, so they are sacred, and we must respect them and approach them in the same way. You cannot just come into their space. They think different than those of us outside of in the Noah space, right? So when they are exposed to kapu, they are part of that kapu. We have to prepare ourselves to be in that space. And they have a higher level of clarity, because the physical realm for them is no longer. So they have, like how they say, when you lose one eye, you see more better, and you can see even more stuff. That's us. That's us as Kanaka. So our people have a closer lens to the realm of Po, which why make it easy for them go. Nothing holding us here, right? They get closer to that line. And so it is important for us to have that consciousness when we're in their spaces, to make sure that we don't come with our mindset of what we like and we think. We have to respect that kapu that they have. And it's a sacredness. We must look at them as sacred, not as broken trauma, right? And it's important the words we use, and it's important the way that we approach people, because you're going to get that kind of outcome. So if you look at them as sick and they need help, then that's what you're going to always be serving them. But we're trying to uplift and ho'omana them and respect the mana that they preserve and allow them to continue to thrive. May not be on how we see thriving, but We have to respect where they at and ho'omana that. So kapu aloha was really a reminder for us to reclaim the term kapu and how we see life in our lens as Kanaka. That it traverses more than the physical realm, and embrace that when we work with our people. Mahalo.
I just want to say a little bit more to expand that, because I think if we all think about in our own lives personally a time that we were in pain, not just physical pain, but emotional, mental, spiritual pain, hurt, at the loss, the death of a loved one. It could be because we got injured, our bodies were injured. If we think about that, and what did we do, what was necessary for our recovery, to regain our health, to regain our well-being. We couldn't go back on the basketball court. We couldn't maybe surf the way that we used to. We couldn't go on a marathon. I don't do marathons, but whoever does marathons, there had to be a kapu. But we don't think that way. We don't think it's a kapu. But when we recover from illness, from injury, any kind of kaumaha, pain, we only let certain people in to our house. We staying home so we can recover. But if we think about who we want to enter into our space of kapu, it's those who bring us ola. It's not the person that sees life with the glass half empty. We want those people in our space, our physical space, our spiritual space, to be people of ola. And so it's up to us as individuals to really think about how it is that we want to recover. And we are listening. That's the most important thing, because when we're out there with people from Lahaina, in Lahaina, so much of it is listening and helping them to bring the unconscious to conscious. And we're not just listening to what is being said, but we are listening to what is not being said, the unspoken. And that requires, before we go out, we do certain protocols, we take care of ourselves in order for us to be of help. Because we don't want to bring all of our, whatever it is that we might be having, but we want to bring an openness and a clarity so that we can be of help to our ohana in Lahaina.
Oh, shoots this. Okay. So how I get wrapped into this is, like I shared earlier, many of us in the Halimua and just doing things in the community over the years, we've built up, I would have to say, when something like this happens, we all rely on pilina relationships and individuals that we have done other things in the past with that we can trust. Hey, they're going to be here. They're going to help do these things. And so myself and Kamana Opono Crab got on kahea for Kokua, our brothers. And how this really started for us, he and I here on Maui, because like I shared earlier, I'm not from Maui, but the leadership that had asked us to be here was to, because we all ma'a with ceremony. Many of us have been in ceremony many a times, and it's important to be in ceremony with people that you ma'a with when you carry the weight of the community, and the kuleana that we were looking to ensure. And so a group of us had gone into Lahaina early on to be in ceremony, to offer prayer, to restore our aina, to restore vai, and to petition our akua and the ancestral realm. And so the prayers has to be put first. If you kanaka, you know that, right? Pule, in no matter what cultural practice you in, pule is first. So that is what we did, and that was the reason why we had ceremony, to put that first for our people, for land, water, because those are primary things. It's always about land and water. And if we're going to thrive as a people, you need land and water. And if you like that happen, then you got to pule first. You got to petition the ancestral realm. And when that happens first, then the physical realm going to manifest. That's our mindset. And so that was why we went into ceremony. And was, I can share real short on this. It was as if watching an old movie play, because you had kihawahine behavior with hoku, and you had all these ali'i all around trying to protect the mana of that wahine and the decisions that needed to be made in that space. And while it was happening today, it has happened for generations. And it was a beautiful thing to see the multitude of things just fall into place for those things to happen. And there was times to flex, but there are times to be staunch. And that's what I can say to share with you folks, which is a longer mo'olelo, is what took place in that space when you had the federal government and all these FEMA people trying to tell us how gotta be. And when we talk about kapu and we talk about mana, it was taking place like right in front of our eyes that day. And there's a time when you gotta say no, like this. And it was a beautiful thing. But I wanna say that that was the reason why it brought us here, was to do ceremony and to offer the prayers first on behalf of our people. So, yeah.
I like just passing the microphone and the paper.
Okay, so we are part of a larger hui of practitioners. Hui Ho'omalu is part of the hui that we belong to now, and we are serving the people of Lahaina, of Maui. So Hui Ho'omalu is a model. It's a model with a way of looking at healing through a Hawaiian mindset. And some of us are Lomi practitioners. Some of us are Haku Ho'oponopono. And so the call was made to our kumu. Each of us belong to a pa of either Lomi Lomi or Haku Ho'oponopono. And the call went out to our kumu to say, this is where we are here on Maui. This is what we would like to offer to Maui. And the kumu decided, yes, we can help. We will be there. And these are our haumana who we feel are ready to be of service in this particular way, in this particular time. And so that went out to all of us who said, yes, we can be there. We will be there. And so the way that it's set up is that the Lomi Lomi practitioners and the Haku Ho'oponopono go together into a site. Initially, it was to the hubs that were set up by the community, in the community. And as the draw for people was the lomi lomi, because the kuka kuka part, and we're not doing, let me just clarify, we're not doing ho'oponopono. I I think if I say the word ho'oponopono, all of us come up with a different idea about what that is, about what that means. And we are in the understanding that not all one school holds all the knowledge. So there is acknowledgement that all of the kumu practice ho'oponopono, practice lomi lomi in different ways. And we respect that, we honor that, and we know that to be true in many, many of our cultural practices. So together with the lomi lomi practitioners, the haku ho'oponopono are there to listen, to kuka kuka with people if they're ready, when they're ready. And the big attraction for people is the lomi lomi. That is what brings people together. If you say, come, would you like to talk? That's like, no, that's not so much the thing that people would jump at to do. Some of us, yes, but not everyone. And so once the lomi lomi is being administered and people are receiving this lomi lomi, and Keola, you can maybe share some. It's amazing that the eha, the kaumaha is being held physically in bodies. I know when I'm going through an emotional state, there are parts of my body that are knotted up. It's very tense. It's holding all of the emotions, especially if we don't release it somehow. So the lomi lomi is a beautiful way to physically administer this healing to people. And as the hihia, as those knots are being released, the emotions come up. Even if people are not thinking that that would happen, it comes out. And so once the person is ready, after they receive their lomi lomi, the practitioner, the lomi lomi practitioner, will come and introduce us to that person, to the people. And as they're transitioning from receiving the lomi lomi in that space and time, they might be ready to talk. As an example, this woman said, "Oh no, me, I don't talk." I said, "Oh, okay, good, yeah." But after an hour and 15 minutes later, after she shared so much, she said, "Hey, I don't usually talk." And she felt better leaving than when she first came in. And I think that's the beauty of this model, is together with our cultural practice of lomi lomi and ho'oponopono in order to utilize the principles of ho'oponopono, not going through the steps of ho'oponopono, but the principles that we learn in ho'oponopono have a definite place in order to help the people who are ready, they're willing, and it's always an honor and a privilege to be able to sit with people. And all of those sessions that we have are confidential. We don't share it. We don't share identifying information in the mo'olelo that's shared with us.
No, no, my name not on the list yet. No, yeah, Maka. And then there's me. I I was brought into the hui by one of my haumana who is Momi's daughter. As a clinical social worker, it was very important for our people to see people who look like us. And there's no, it's not said or meant to divide, but to honor what our people want and what our people need. For the first couple of months, it was, being on meetings with everyone. And what was important for me was, because I do what I do when I do it in my office, that didn't mean that that's what Lahaina wanted or what Lahaina needed. So I waited. Yeah, we always say, you wait for the right moment. And then when the kahea came, hey sis, we need this, you get this. Because I work with a lot of different nonprofit organizations who were able to, but couldn't get into Lahaina, to be able to bring things in. And let me backtrack a little bit, I'm sorry. So I was very blessed. I feel very privileged to have been able to go in with MPD on that Friday night after the fires, just to be there with first responders. The amount of people who came for Lahaina was amazing, and just letting them know, sitting next to them and just saying, hey, my name is Michele, if you need water, you need something to eat. We had fire, we were still search and rescue. We had so many different people who came from out of state. The next day was all day in Lahaina, on ground zero, and just holding space for our first responders who were here. And that in and of itself, for me, it was a privilege, and being able to connect with these folks, because there was so much people who were coming and saying, oh, we're going to do this for you, and we're going to do that for you. And, telling people, okay, we're not ready for that yet. And then, some people get offended, yeah, like, oh, they don't want us here. They don't want us here. Like, should we go back? And it's like, it's not about you. Yeah. Tia and I were talking about that. It's not about you. It's about our people, our Lahaina, and what they need. And so my connection to the hui is, should they need services beyond Lomi Lomi or the pieces of the Ho'oponopono that are being offered, then I'm here. We are trying to get, more social workers involved, more folks who can help. And again, not meant to divide, but to bring our people to that place of feeling safe. Because that is what we're trying to build, is that safety that has been lost for our people. So.
Something on that as well is, wow, this one is loud. I just wanted to share mahalo for those that made it possible, as I am a Hui Ho'omalu member and practitioner. And the one thing about it is, we never maha'oe. It was the call from the people. And that's what made Keola Kamana'opono folks move. That they wanted Hawaiian practitioners, those that were Hawaiian people in the community. They didn't want to speak to those that were brought in from outside. They wanted people from Hawaii that kind of understand and connect, like how you guys connected in this room, and the way we connect. And that was the important part. So we was ho'olono. So ho'olono, if you're not familiar with the term, we get ho'olohe. That's with the pepeao. Ho'olono is with all your senses, that which is seen and unseen. That's the difference. They were ho'olono. They could feel that part. They could hear the murmurs from the wind that touched their pepeao, touched their ili, touched their na'au. It made them move to, you know what? They saying, how come you guys not here yet? So they moved. And we got the call, a lot of practitioners, and we all was, okay, it's only a couple of weeks after, and not, some people wanted more practitioners in the community. And so we got from the different pa and those that volunteered. And there were some that volunteered nonstop. I know some Lomi practitioners that, stayed in Kokua. But one thing Keola always shared with us is, yes, but make sure you malama yourself. You gotta malama. If we like kapu ola, you gotta do that as well. Ho'omanaya, he said, bringing that spiritual component, but bringing all. Remember that mana is important. But we also connecting mana. We connecting mo'olelo. So one thing we do regarding that is kind of like on the next one is the importance of cleansing. And people do different type of cleansing. So before you all came in, we pikai the place already. We had olena. We had pa'akai. Auntie brought, we're so gracious. Auntie brought water from the ua, from the heavens. She caught them so we could be kai. Straight from the lani. So there's different, if you know, when you're doing different rituals, that's important. One of the most sacred ones is the vainiu in the coconut, the water, straight from Keakua, the creator, not tainted. Then if you go out, Iuka, for the Punawai, straight in the mountain, get them straight. Those are great waters you can do. Hui kala, wai hui kala. If you're not familiar with that, that's what you use when you do pikai. And there's more different ones, but it's important for many of our practitioners. Remember about cleansing. So when we ho'olono, many of us, and we observe and see if they like pikai at the end. And that's when we do the cleansing with these ingredients I shared, in addition to limu kala. So limu kala is the hina essence that is brought, but the word kala, to pardon, to forgive, to release. So sometimes there's heaviness. So what I've noticed is because their familiarity and they see us, we come almost every week or every other week into the community. So at first, ovai oi, who you? They don't know you, right? Even though I am from Maui, I'm not from Lahaina. And I respect that. So I have to malie, be calm, ho'olono, the whole time. But there's the word ahanui, right? Waiting for the right moment. Ai, pulale. Ai? Yeah. You're waiting for the right moment. Because we don't know. They're all experiencing different things. But the more I see it as they get ma'a, familiarized with our maka, with our eyes, our face. After the lomi, they come and talk story. Kuka, kuka. You won't, I cannot explain the stories, but the stories are profound. So for us, we can make sure that before we go home, we're going to either pikai or we're going to kapukai to release everything. So we're going to take kamaha home to our family. That's important. So we have different ways on our practice and our beliefs, right? Many of us have la'i, right? Lauki, la'i. So you can put them on your body. I have one around my wrist. You see them? There's different type of ways you can have lauki, but I remember Uncle Harry Kunihi Mitchell. He always made us, whenever we go halau, heiau or we go koho'olawe, he made us wrap Hawaiian salt in the tea leaf, and he had to touch our body every time. That was his practice. And when he has olena, we have them. But he would always, before we go, and then he always gives a ho'okupu when he land on koho'olawe. So we just observing that practice for cleanse and protection. We do the same. When we go into the space, we got to protect ourselves as well. Just like the la'i protects, right? La'i protects. We put it, a lot of people, when they make imu, they put my la'i way before. It's a protection. Lau, you cover with. Now today we get foil. But, you know, the essence is because it's the form. It's our ancestor. The reason why we do the practice is because the kino lao, that we're respecting the kupuna, and we're respecting their kupuna because they connected to the space. They connected to the plants. Because we're all connected through kumalipo. So that's the importance when we talk about the spiritual cleansing and the protection. We all do it. Even it wouldn't matter if you're haku ho'oponopono or you're lomi specialist, or even if you're psychologist. We all, she's not that smart. She's not that smart. She's smarter. You know why? Yeah? Because she ho'olono. She was there as the first ones that went in to be connecting with those that were affected. That's a tough one, I must say. Seeing and hearing all the stories, then we will continue to be there. That's the thing with this, and we'll share more about our hui ho'omalo, is that we're looking to really be there for our people. So we're always listening to make sure that they're ready. We ahanui, moving at the right time. Yeah. Next one. Pilina.
Just expanding.
Yeah, hikino.
So it's not just waiting around.
Not just waiting.
Like waiting around. It's more like
You're prepping. Yeah.
yeah.
You ho'omakoko.
You're always being makakau for whatever's going to happen. So just like ahanui is that deep breath, right? You're just waiting, ready for ho'olono, right? Yeah. So not waiting around. It's more like being ready.
Yeah. We makakau, waiting for the right moment, because we already makakau. Polale. Good clarity. Yes.
Mahalo, Doctor. Almost Dr. Dolly Tatofi.
Yeah.
Pilina is what we're gonna talk about, and that waiting for the right moment. So we did do things on the ground, and we just get to this place where we don't talk about what we're doing. We just do. Yeah, we always just do. There's people that are saying, "Hey, I'm doing this and I'm doing that." Right on. But we still gonna just do what we do. And I'm so very grateful for that connection, that pilina from my sisters who called me and said, "Sis, what can we do?" So there was Dolly, Dr. Dana, from Pohana on Oahu, and it's that moment when you get that kahea. Says, can you guys come? What I was doing was not what I do in my day to day. What I did was I would rent a van, I would fill them up with our hoas and our hoa laws. We would fill the van up with supplies, and we would go to the hubs, and that's all we did. We made mistakes along the way. One of those mistakes was, you got to go in with your badge and you got to show your license, and you know what happens when that happens, yeah. They're like, oh, who you work with, who you with, and so okay, we're not gonna wear our badge to the next hub because we always have to move the way our people will be willing to receive us. That's the thing, yeah, the willingness to have them receive us. So that's all I did: t-shirt, yoga pants, shoes, and just go hub to hub, and we did that for like 2 weeks every day, just taking supplies. My sisters came in from Oahu to help with that. Halekipa sent things to Tia, so there's all these connections on how we served our people. And I remember I just met Keola, and I was like, bro, when you gonna come? Like, because what I heard was, if they keep coming to our door, we're going to just lock ourselves in this room. And so it's not to go to, like, we were just at a conference a couple weeks ago. We were asked to share, and somebody said, how come social workers don't go to people's houses anymore? And I said, well, I'm not going to go to anybody's house because I still get scoldings from my auntie if I don't tell her I'm coming. Because why? Because she never prepare food. Just show up at people's homes. So, going to where they were going, but not saying, hey, I'm here to help you, this is what I do, but making those connections. And then having my other brother from Big Island coming, so he was also kiaʻi on the Mauna. He's back there. All these people, they're so humble, and I'm going to just call them out right now because they came from so many different places, and he is a haumana of Kumalahela. He is a Lomi practitioner. So all these people who were, because of the connection that they have to our Aina, they came. And sorry, I bleed one different blue. I went Maui High, not your fault. Okay, we had this conversation before. But still, that connection, honoring the connection. And if there's no connection, then you just wait until there is one, when you can go and be of service with what you have to offer. That is what was important for me. I'm not from Lahaina. I am from Paia, where we are small too. And I know if people would come and they would say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, I'll be like, call you after. But then we watch who we're going to let in our homes, because we got to know who not only going to keep us safe, but our keiki safe, everything that is in our home safe. And, without that pilina, when we did reentry, and I'm going to share this story, and it was from, if you were in the first session too, with Kumuikela and with Anu, that, had people who weren't from here who went for reentry and was just walking on people's homes, basically. And I told her, I said, we cannot do that. You just, these are people's homes. Well, and she was like, well, and I was like, yeah, just don't do that. I'm trying to be nice. Yeah. Kapu aloha. And then she kept doing it. And I looked at Anu. I was like, sis, you gonna go talk to her? And she did. She did, because I had to be mindful, because I told that lady like 2 or 3 times, don't do that. And she wasn't listening. And I couldn't do it. So I said, Tita, you go take care of that. And she did. In her loving, kind way, she did that. But do you know that this wahine, and I wanted to build on that, when she left, she was here for about a month. And when she left, she said to one of the po'o for the Mauna medics, that for the Maui medics, she said, I've been to so many disaster areas. I've served so many communities, but I wasn't prepared for Hawaii and its people. So she had time to reflect. So for that, I had to honor that, you know. So at least she got something from us, something that was good. Even though she came in with well and good intentions, it wasn't received because we do things differently. We just do.
Okay, my turn, I guess. I've been trying hard to sit here still and quiet. I enjoy just listening to everybody. Aloha, everybody. Along with what our friends are sharing about Pilina, I was, along with our friends from the Office of Wellness and Resilience, we had the kuleana to be that first face. So we like to joke that we're the logistics of aloha. And it's really, you know, we know that there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, that the many hands that make this all work. We know that there's scheduling things and all those logistical pieces that many of us always have to deal with at work. But the focus really of, and the intent of us being there to help check in and greet people was really to manage the aloha. Really to set the tone of the experience of the day. To be welcoming, to know that everybody had a point or everybody had a story and something that they wanted to share. Not everybody had the opportunity and space to share that. But in experiencing the healing that we were able to offer with our friends and all of the people, it really did help to make that welcoming space. And that's what we felt was so important. We know with everybody and the loss that we've all encountered, that's really what made the difference. That's really what opened the door to the opportunities for kuka kuka and lomi lomi, and really to further the healing that happened. I would always make the joke, not too pretty, but I can give you guys a smile and a shaka, and we can get you started on the day. And that's really what our purpose was, you know, to be that initial face, to make sure that everybody knew that they mattered that day. From remembering their names, from when we walked them into the sessions, into the lomi lomi sessions, to checking on them as they came out the door. It's really making sure that they knew that they mattered that day in the space that we occupied and in that time that we created. It was also our kuleana and our responsibility to hold that space for everybody throughout the weeks that we've been servicing. I've had the fortunate privilege to be up on Maui and share space with many of our people in Lahaina, you know, 5 or 6 weekends. And every single weekend, people are coming back and sharing their appreciation for what is happening. Sharing their appreciation and mo'olelo, saying that short 5-10 minutes maybe, even that short interaction with us sitting at the front desk really made them feel important, really made them feel heard. And that's what really was important to all of us that stewarded that kuleana of sitting at that front desk. And it was really important. And it was nice when we had returning guests. We have some of our friends here that participated with us in Maui. We had the shout outs and the line that in sign up this morning. And that really is the true indicator that our hana was done correctly. We were entering spaces in the appropriate way. We were approaching people in the appropriate way. And we were meeting them wherever they needed to be met at that time. And that truly is what we feel has opened up the spaces and allowed us to be very successful in the sense that everybody wants to come for the healing. And it's the stories that we share. So in taking that kuleana and being that face and being that individual or individuals that help to really set the scene, it was also in the handoffs. It's also in the care that we provide. We've been to all the places where, oh, thanks for checking in. You guys can go down to the door, walk there, and you know, sometimes we walk aimlessly. Even the intention on leading kupuna, leading us, the short conversations of even checking in, that's really where the facilitation and the logistics of aloha came in. How did we check ourselves prior to showing up? How did we want to prepare prior to even flying from Oahu? What were those kuleana and what are those things that helped us like Auntie was talking about, be prepared to be present in the spaces that we were privileged to be in. And we truly thank you guys and everybody that gave us that opportunity. A lot of people have thanked us throughout the weeks for what we've done for them. And all of us have thanked them in return what they allowed us to do for them. And really that's where our kuleana is, of uplifting everybody in our lahui. The same way that you guys have chosen to share space with us today about the healing and the conversations, about how it affects our na'au. That is really what and how we approach the situation in the services that we try to provide. So mahalo.
The na'au. I have a friend who says, it's na'au or never. So that's not my line, it's hers. But pilina, when we talk about pilina, it's not just individuals, but it's really with these partnerships. If we do something like this, if we're called to come, we need to have pilina and connections with other leaders in the community. It is not just us. The partnerships are essential. Partnering with others who see the value in what is being offered. One of the things that we have on the paper is how to remain Maui-centric. And, you know, I kind of want to, I was really taken by what some of the things that Archie Kalepa had shared this morning when he spoke. And part of what he said, not word for word, but is that he always referenced Hawaii. And if I think back culturally, we are a voyaging people because we live on islands. We had to travel from island to island to seek out help, to offer help. We didn't just stay one island and nobody can come. We did not behave that way because we relied on one another. We relied on the connections and the pilina we have with our aina, with our land, with the natural elements that we live with, and with one another. So even in our grieving, even in our pain, we did not isolate. We didn't do that in isolation. We always did it with ohana, people that we trusted, with community. That's a very different mindset. So in terms of the practitioners that are coming, and I can say I mahalo them so much because there aren't that many. That pool of cultural practitioners with integrity is very shallow. And there's many, many kumu who have passed and now live in the spiritual realm. So for those who have a desire to learn and to hold that knowledge in a very respectful way, I want to encourage people to seek out kumu, to seek out ways that you can, like Keola and my kumu have always said, is a healer in every family, is to return these healing practices to the people, to the ohana, to homes. It's not just for the professionals. It's not just for people who went to college and have a degree. It is really a people's practice. We knew who to seek when we needed help for certain illnesses or certain problems that we had. We knew where to go. But nowadays, we don't always know. We're not sure where to go. And, you know, I was a licensed social worker when I was working, so I'm not saying don't go to the professionals because they're helpful too. But we also have in our cultural practices things that work, things that we connect to and find very helpful. So in terms of making it Maui-centric, we need one another. We need our partners. We need the leadership of Maui, of the community, state, county, private. Everybody can contribute. And an example I want to give is DHHL, Hawaiian Homes. Leali'i, which is the Hawaiian Homes community in Lahaina, is situated directly next to another community, not Hawaiian Homes, but that community burned to the ground. Leali'i, which is the Hawaiian homestead, there were 2 homes that burned. Other homes were damaged in different ways, but Hawaiian Homes came on the second day to the community to check on the people who live there and stood up a mobile trailer, which is kind of in the back of the Civic Center. And the name of that trailer, their service is Kako'o Leali'i Recovery Center. And right away, there was a desire to have cultural practitioners there for the community. A recognition that people needed federal money to rebuild. As difficult as FEMA, Red Cross, and their lack of understanding about Hawaii and the people and how to work with people in the community, there was a recognition that we need FEMA. And my understanding, anybody from FEMA in here? Mahalo, I want to mahalo FEMA. Because we were told that FEMA has 75% of the federal dollars to rebuild, for communities to rebuild. State and county share between the two 25%. So FEMA is where the majority of the funding is for people to rebuild. And there's a whole process which I don't understand. But what the Maui commissioner here on island did was he went to, you went with him, Keola, to the Civic Center where had all of those people. And the desire was checking out the FEMA people. Who can relate? Who's relating well to our people? Who do we think has the heart and the spirit to work with our people? And so they did one reconnaissance, recon the people, spoke with Summer Silva of Washington. And the ask was, Summer, can you make it possible? We want 3 FEMA people, the best, to be in this trailer for our people. And we don't want them rotating out. We want them. We kapu them this whole time. And they made it happen. And so what happened in the beginning, very few people came. But with the very few that came to seek assistance, the word got out. Hey, that's not bad. That was really good. And so they have people there from the very beginning that have been there the whole time. So 3 people working constantly with people, and no one is turned away. If people came who weren't from Hawaiian Homes, that didn't matter, because what the people of Lahaina told us is that we have pilina with this whole community, not just the people who live in Hawaiian Homes. My teacher lives over there, my coach, my auntie, my uncle, my cousins. So it's never about an isolated, insulated community. This is really about how in Hawaii we think, and in culturally, we want to take care of everybody. We want people to get help. And so in order to make it Maui-centric and keep it Maui-centric, is to listen and to be guided by the community, the voices of the community, because they can best inform us of what is needed and how is it needed, that we may move forward with them in mind in the best way. And people get, what is that, disqualified, or they don't qualify for FEMA. And so one story is that someone came in for a lomi, and she did not look very happy. So one of the practitioners sat with her to just talk story and said, "Did you apply for FEMA?" She goes, "Yeah, but no can." "Oh, who told you?" And she was like this, because the lady was sitting on the desk. She was like, "Oh." And so eventually, with the practitioner, went to sit with that woman again to find out how come she was not eligible. And you know, it was such a minor thing. Sometimes it's just something so small that can be corrected. And it was a letter for her to write a letter saying certain things. And they're like, "Oh, we can write the letter right now." Yes. And these are the things you say. So I guess my point is that when we keep it community focused, we listen to the community, and then we figure out how can we bring resources that are needed so that people can access resources and people in a way that feels right, that makes sense, that has that warmth. And when the federal FEMA people reported back to their bosses about what's been going on at the Leali'i trailer, the FEMA people were blown away. Said, "We never thought of this ever." And we go all over the country in disasters. But they are wanting to replicate what is happening at Leali'i for other indigenous communities when there's a disaster. That is Maui-centric. That is born out of Lahaina. That is born out of aloha and a way of thinking Kanaka ways, Hawaiʻi ways. So I just wanted to share that part in terms of Pilina, Maui-centric, and I would like to pass this to you.
Okay, I'm gonna try jet through this. For about 10 years, I ran an organization as the executive director for Ahakane. And there were some definitely lessons learned when we would gather Hawaiian men. And a lot of those things were implemented. One of the things is the culmination of what we have here is every conference, it was over like the amount of kane that came and had asked for help was at the top of our list when we looked at the data. They were asking for cultural help. They weren't asking for a counselor. They weren't asking for a psychologist. They were asking, when I go back home to my island, you guys can connect me to an Ho'oponopono practitioner. Clear as day. Like that was the most request that we had in our conferences. And we had 3 conferences, 2006, 2010, and 2012. And in 2016, we were writing a grant for a different subject. And Likeke Paglinawan had passed away. He was one of our premier Haku Ho'oponopono. And I remember him being at the conference and encouraging men to learn. Not just go heal, but go heal and then go learn Ho'oponopono, because we need more kane for do that. So 2016, we got funded and we built capacity on all the islands. Maui, out of all the islands, had the least amount. And that was after going around and asking the communities and the community leaders, the practitioners, the hula kumu, Hey, who's you guys ho'oponopono on island? Every time was, oh, we used to have this auntie, but oh, she passed away. Oh, this uncle used to do them down the road, but no more anymore. Maui was the most concerning, and so I went back to Auntie Lynette, because Auntie Lynette and Richard used to come over here and do workshops back in the day. And so the good thing is, maybe some of you, I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling this, so I'm going to turn off the video. But you guys, Mayor participated in that class, and he graduated in Ho'oponopono, if you guys don't know. There are several staunch individuals that sat and learned. We brought a practitioner in who was sanctioned by Auntie Lynette Paglinoan to come and build capacity here on Maui. So 2019 is when we finished that. When we talk about having these PA available, it was because of that work. It was because of those kumu like Derwin in the back who learned with Lahela Cruz on Hawaiian. She helped build capacity on Hawaiian. We had Earl Kava'o on Molokai. We had Dennis Kauahi on Kauai. And it was a statewide initiative to build Ho'oponopono practitioners so that our community would have access. Now, when this happened, how this took place, and I want to take this time to give credit to the funders, because we often sit around and go, oh, they're not doing nothing. Those guys, they're not doing nothing. Well, I'm here to say, Kamehameha Schools was one of those right off the bat that called out and said, hey, look, this is what's going on with us, okay? So Maui over here, if you guys remember, the fires happened and then the Maui High School was going to open up. And so the first days of school only had Kumu and the staff and the admin. And they were saying just that group alone, they were taxing out the behavioral health group that KS already has. And so they said, can we get some cultural practitioners to kokua? Because the students never even return yet with their parents. We're not going to have capacity for help. So can we have some help here? That's how I got the call. That's how I was brought in to say, hey, Keola, remember that work you did back in the day? You get some guys that can come help, because the FEMA, the guys from the continent coming in, they get different kind of honor for our community. They're rubbing our community the wrong way. Maybe guys from the neighbor islands might be able to help this. And I said, well, hey, all I can do is ask. And because of the relationships, because of the pilina, I reached out to these kumu and I had asked them, look, we did this back in the day. I know you guys continue to do that work. Would you guys come to kokua? Just put it in your ear, get back to me. And then I called all the Maui people and I was like, hey, Maui, are you guys social workers? You guys get capacity or what? Can we serve 9,000 people that were affected? Do we have capacity on island? Because if you do, we don't need come. We don't need be here. If you guys get them, but right on. And she was one of them. Auntie was one of them, right? We had a whole bunch of social workers. The problem was we never even have one list of who's the psychiatrist, who's the psychologist on island. We didn't have that, right? So that was problematic in itself. But Kamehameha Schools got back to me, and what they said was, you know what, Keola, when we think about it, Kamehameha Schools, we get one chapel, we get one behavioral health section, right? We get facilities, we get one kitchen. You know what? The community, no more nothing. More better you guys go help the community. So shift the focus to helping us, to go helping them. So what we did was, relationships again, was reach out to all the community leaders that are all talking here. I met with each one of them, and I sat down and I said, you guys need help or what? This is what we can offer. And if you guys need, we go make them. If you guys need, we will come. But if no need, no need. And every single one of them went sign off. And they said, yeah, like last week, can you be here? So it was because Kamehameha Schools, and even though it shifted from focusing on KS Maui, it became focus on the community. They still put funds up. They said, get it going, Keola Lake. Put the crew together and get it going for the island. CNHA was another one. It was the relationships that we had with KS, the relationships we have with Kuhio and Mehanahain, and they said, you know what, Keola, the money gonna be there, just do it. You gotta realize that leadership, sometimes you gotta be like the elements. When calm, you gotta be calm. But sometimes when fast, you gotta be equally as fast. You gotta respond as quick as the fires took our Lahaina. We gotta move just as fast. You gotta think just as fast, and you gotta move with that intent. You gotta balance it out. And so that's what we did. We organized ourselves as quickly as we could. Would have been nice if we had several years to do it. But we had what we had, and we had the relationships, and we had people that said, yeah, Keola, can. We go do them. Okay? And so this model we talking about, what the model is we flying people in that have cultural ike. They will sit in front of these kupuna for years and learn. And we've asked their kumu, hey, pick your very best. No, not the guy who didn't start yesterday. Pick only the best and can we bring those people in? And that's the model right now, is that we are partnering with the practitioners here on island. Like I said, it's a small handful. And the hope is that we grow this, right? The long-term plan is that we stop coming. To be really honest, is that we hand them over. Because it is not viable. It's not financially, like, it don't make sense right now. But it helps. And we helping to serve one gap. Because normally, you know, we all hear this term, oh, you got a kilo. When you go holo holo, you got a kilo. Well, that's what we had to do too. And I like acknowledge him. So like Vela in the back, him and his brother and a bunch of them, they were the ones that helped open up the war memorial when it first happened. They were the ones that went first open up on Lomi tent because they were like, hey, but people need help. And they was the first ones also to get shut down by the foreign guys, you know. And so when you kilo, when they say kilo, not only aina, you gotta kilo people. And so what we were noticing with the people was that they would come and go get one lomi, but they wouldn't going, I need help. They wasn't going for the counseling, but they go to them. And so when we talk about developing one process was observing what took place and leveraging that people were funneling into that. And the reason why is because of what took place, a lot of our people didn't want to sit and talk about what just took place. They're going to run their body 24/7 until they drop. They don't want to think about stuff. I'm going to keep busy. I'm going to keep working. And most of our people still doing that. This program we're only hitting like 60, 100 people a week. So we're not even touching like the 9,000 that was affected. So I just want to say, like, relationships is important. Recognizing that at some point we like turn this over. The plan is to build capacity here. So like Auntie Momi said, go learn. Maui, go learn. Go learn from the practitioners out there so that we can turn them over, so that the neighbor islands can go back to their islands. Yeah. But for now, we just here to kokua where need. And I want to mahalo the Office of Wellness and Resilience with Tia. Mahalo, Tia. All of her team, actually. They all awesome. And Keola, you know, if you don't know anything about traditional Hawaiian healing practices, there's a long history of us being negated in our own lands. And that's what was happening with us. As Kanaka, they was like, you know, more license, you know, can be doing this kind of work. But if you actually know the law, that's BS. Because get law that protect us, right? But what I want to say about that is that Tia guys and step up and said, you know what, we got your back. We could just run them. And they're under the governor, so they had like, they would trump everybody. So we was like, hey, we're going your route then. And they support us, and they've been with us, walking with us at every weekend when we were opening up shop for our people. They sat next to us and they kako us, and I just like mahalo you guys, because that means a lot. Because we actually had female people asking us, hey, where you guys licensed? How come you guys over here? Yeah, go talk to them. Yeah. You guys get any questions?
I know it's been said during the talk, what's some of the things important to be relational first, transactional second?
Wow.
Kanaka response is always relational first. No matter what. That's in our nature. It's innate. The way we started, we want to connect to Akua. Then we want to connect with you folks. Then we wanted you to connect with each other. But also space, place. All those things are important. And we respect. Whenever we go to Lahaina, we chanting in. We chanting out. We connecting on the non-physical realm. But excellent question, because that makes us different from the other ones that come in. That is the most viable. Auntie, you want to share?
Yeah, and the thing about relational connections, that's the essence. So there's the form, which is the, the hello, whatever, but it's really deeper than that. And what I want to say is that every ethnicity, not only Hawaiians, relate to that. The genuine connection and the genuine pilina and aloha.